Hello and welcome to Study Teaching of Novels and Short Stories in ESL. I'm Sajivani Priyangika Vendaku. Topic 1. Teaching Aspects of Text. Learning Outcomes. Explain and discuss the literary elements in novels and short stories using appropriate terms. Play and carry out activities to teach the literary elements of literary texts. Plan and carry out activities to explore key issues emerging from the social and cultural worlds of literary text. Introduction. A good starting point in planning to teach would be in considering the uniqueness of the text that you will explore with your students. What makes a particular novel or short story unique? A novel or short story, like all literary texts, is deliberate constructions that has been carefully and creatively crafted by an author. The text you are reading, teaching has emerged from a particular cultural, social and historical context. What are the implications of these observations? As teachers of literature, we need to be able to help students to engage with their stories in these texts, appreciate their beauty, as well as be aware that literature encourages thinking about important issues in life. The literacy elements that we shall consider in this topic are plot, character, setting, point of view, and theme. Charting the sequence of events in a story. As you plan to teach a text, read it carefully to identify the key events. Note their sequence and examine what is important about each event and see how it leads to the development of other events. Key pivotal events in the plot. It is useful to encourage them to maintain some kind of a record of key events, the reason they occur and the resulting consequences when students are reading a longer text like the novel. Teaching character. The plot of a story is largely driven by the characters in it. Readers therefore have to know who the characters are as well as develop profiles about them. Just as we to come know people through accounts of their appearance, their speech, their actions, and their thoughts, we similarly develop a sense of identities of the imaginary people we read about. We come to know these characters through description in the text that provide us details about characters, including their personality traits, physical appearance, gender, age, occupation, as well as educational, social, and cultural backgrounds. How characters speak, what the characters themselves say, and what other characters say about them. How characters behave and how others behave towards them. What we are told about their thoughts and feelings and how other things and feel in relation to them. Teaching setting. There are two functions of setting as a backdrop so that the story comes alive but without setting being distinctive. As an integral part of the story where setting influences or even shapes the story. In teaching texts from various cultures, plan activities to encourage students to think of life in other social and cultural settings. Remember that there are tangible as well as intangible dimensions such as beliefs, customs, values, and social codes of conduct that are also part of life in the setting that the characters inhabit. Reason for teaching setting. Increase awareness of setting, draw an extra textual sources, encourage students to think of life in other settings, encourage students to consider multiple dimensions of setting. Teaching point of view. First person narrator, the story is told by an I, or maybe the main character in the story, or he or she could be minor character, who is observer of events that occur in relation to other characters. Third person narrator. Here the narrator is outside the story and refers to characters by their names or by pronouns such as he or she. The narrator who knows everything about characters, including their thoughts and motives, and tells us about them in omniscient narrator. A narrator may also present one point of view, even focusing on one character, and this is known as a limited point of view. Multiple narrators. Some writers who choose to present events through the eyes of more than one character so that we can have multiple points of view of the same event. Types of narration. Narrator, first person, told by I, who may be the main or minor character. Third person, someone outside the story, multiple, more than one character. Teaching theme. To see these as relevant issues that emerge from the story, students first need to be clear about the events and characters, the circumstances in the story, the events that takes place, details about characters and details about setting, all contribute to helping students decide what the key issues are. Questions are a usual way to prompt students to think about what these issues are. Further questions may be needed to encourage students to refine, extend, or develop their thinking about a theme. Thus, a simple response like the story is about vanity to a question about the theme of the necklace may have to extend to consider, perhaps, the consequences of vanity. Also, while the words on the page are important, students will also need to draw an experience and their knowledge of the world to interpret the story that they read. Short stories and novels. Similarities and differences. Similarities. Both are narratives. Both are fictitious work of prose. Differences. Novels, longer, covers more scope of work, characters like to transform and develop. Short stories, shorter, focuses on one event, issues or idea, contains vivid portrayals of characters. I think you enjoyed this lesson and you got knowledge about how to teach novels and short stories in ESL classroom. Hope you enjoyed the lesson and thank you so much.